Q&A session. If the poets don't mind if we ask you a few questions. Is that okay? Okay.
You want those books?
Just,
Sure.
I better clear this extra chair.
No, I know, of course.
you may be able to shout it out. Unless you have good voice and carry We'll see if they can hear you better. Okay. All right, this next session will be a short question and answers for Wendy. Can we pass it around? Okay. We can pass it around. Modern technology. Okay. So Wendy's still signing books over there, which is great. We'll give her another minute, and then does anyone have a question you would like to toss at Jim Cardwell while we're standing here waiting for Wendy?
When did you start writing poetry?
The first poem I really wrote was in '72. It didn't go much of anywhere. I wrote a couple pieces over the next few years, but in college, starting in '76, '77, I started studying writing poetry, creative writing. Steve Cowett was, I was very fortunate to have him as a teacher. He was a fantastic writer. And he, though did not write rhyme, his textbook showed you how to write it. And I've always loved it. So I kept up. When I started nursing school, though, I stopped it all. And it was more than a dozen years before I wrote almost anything. I concentrated on work. Then I decided, I've got to get back to it. Tumbled into some cowboy poets, and here I am.
So did it come kind of natural to you at all? Like you said when you were younger, you started writing little, and did you kind of have a natural ability?
Well, I could put down what I wanted to say, getting it in a good order. Sometimes that takes a little more work.
Okay.
Kevin?
Do you do most of your poems from memory like you did today?
Cowboy poetry, yes. Some of my regular worldly poetry, yes. But you really have to work to get those down. Some of the nursing poetry is well memorized.
Is it getting harder as you get older? True.
So far,
That's good.
not bad.
Next question.
Questions for Wendy?
Any more questions?
Yeah. Did these things actually happen, you know, because you guys tell these poems in so, like, great detail. Like, it's like, I visualize, like, the last couple poems walking, like, in a trail, and you saw the bear, like, the horses. And
Yeah, did that happen?
Did you guys actually, like, witness? Because, I mean, you tell it, like, so great, like, I'm visualizing, like, you guys are walking on this trail with the horses and the bears and all that stuff. I'm just curious.
I can say something about going out on horseback. You're not as, you know, the two-legged and the four-legged are not as threatened by wildlife. So you get, if you're on horseback, you get to see a lot more when you're out on the trail. And we have a little tale. We used to like to go out on Thanksgiving. If we didn't have a family coming or anything, we'd put some hot dogs in the saddlebags and go up on a trail and cook make a little campfire and cook some hot dogs and have some hot cider and just turn around and ride back. So we had our dogs with us and so we're going back down the trail and we could hear something up on the mountain, just above us, just tracking us down the trail, you know, and we knew that it was a bear. He probably smelled our hot dogs. And luckily, he just followed, you know, we never saw him. Did we, Kevin? We never got a glimpse of him, but we knew he was there.
Wow.
And we weren't a threat, obviously, so I guess we should have left him a hot dog up on the hill or something, but you're not supposed to feed the wildlife, yeah. So, does that answer your question?
And then, did the dogs go with you?
Not these two particular dogs. At the time we had a blue Australian Shepherd and sort of a cross Shepherd that we adopted, and they were wonderful trail dogs. And they carried their own packs, and yeah, we miss them a lot. These are a little different. We call them the latchkey kids. We were working a lot, and they spent a lot of time. They did not get the training to go out on horseback that the others did. But I can't imagine life without them. And so we brought them along so they could camp with us at the RV spot. It was a beautiful spot out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Kevin asked a question of Jim, which was, Kevin, repeat your question. It was about
You
memorizing.
do all your poetry from memory?
About, yeah, what about it?
You present your poetry through your memory without referring to the actual poem?
Always memories, yes.
Yeah, it's, you know, when you get older, sometimes you don't sleep real good. I go, why am I awake at 2 in the morning? So I lay there and recited poetry, and you can bore yourself to death and go back to sleep.
That's a new one. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it kind of helped to teach school. Teaching school, you had to, you know, put things in your memory so you can inspire the kids.
He's a 40-year high school teacher.
Oh, yeah, cool. I didn't last. I just didn't fit into the world of education. I love the kids and I love teaching. And now I'm seeing kind of what's going on teaching in school today, and I don't think I would have lasted anyway. I disagree with a lot of what's going on in public education. That's between us, but we need it. But, you know, I don't know if I can follow all their rules.
Can I add something to what Kevin mentioned there? Sometimes you do memorization out of necessity. I didn't know it till I was well out of high school. I am dyslexic. And reading something, a cold reading, for me is a disaster. Even if I wrote it, even if I know it, if I'm trying a cold reading, the chances of it coming out good are not. Memorization works.
Yeah, I agree. You can bore people to death reading poetry, and I think that if you can put it in your head and memorize it, you can perform it, or I'm able to put myself there. If I'm reading it, you can't do that as easily.
Well, it's one similarity to slam poetry, because slam poetry is also usually recited and not, that's how it does have in common, but yeah, they're always recited, not on the page.
Right, right. I think the delivery is much better when you are able to tell the story rather than read it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more performance poetry, yeah.
Yeah. How many of you are interested in, I've given poetry writing workshops in the past at the library. It was during Cowboy Poetry Week, from Elko and everything. And of course with the kids, but even the adults, I mean, you don't have to be a cowboy to write cowboy poetry. If you have it and feel it in your heart, I mean, you can write something as simple as a cowboy hat, or a poem. I gotta do this poem. Kevin keeps telling me, you gotta do the post. And it was by Geraldine Strong, and I don't have it yet. It's a wonderful poem, but it's a whole poem about everything that a post is good for, where you can put half-empty beers or create a little shade for a bug or this and that. And when the last line was something about when the post has outlived its use, you can watch it crackling on the fire. It's just a profound, simple, but it just hits it, nails it, really good. And one of these days, maybe if we come back, I'll have it. Yeah.
So you know Geraldine?
Yes.
I haven't seen her in several years now.
Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, like Facebook, I'm not a big, I like Facebook, but I can look up hours later and go, what happened to the day? And and so I don't allow myself to go there as much as I should, because you can stay in touch with a lot of people that way and, you know, not have to drive miles to go visit them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
For both of you, how do you guys get the delivery like so perfect? It's like, oh my God. Like, your poems are just like, it's amazing.
Trial and error.
Is it? Okay.
When you found you had fallen on your face, it's an error. And
Okay.
you try something different.
You must rehearse too, though. right?
Awesome.
Oh, you have to.
Perform, you
I used to spend night shifts when things were quiet in a blacked out treatment room, the newest piece I've written, and I'd go over it line after line after line, and
Wow. Awesome.
that's where most of it actually was memorized. That was many years ago because there's no downtime in an ER anymore.
That's what I get from watching the kid.
And
accurate.
very, very true
Unfortunately, I
story.
think it is, just from my visits to ER, I would say. Crazy.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Anything else before we move on to the open mic section of the day? Nope. Okay, well, you two may sit back and enjoy the open mic. If you, I hope you will. Let's have a seat.
I think most of the refreshments have been eaten, which is a first. That never happens. Okay, so for our open mic, we ask people to bring a Western themed poetry if they have it. And Susan Locke has volunteered to go first. Did you write this poem, or is it a, no? Okay, just tell us who it's by.
Okay. I was facilitating a class.
At work, and, oh, I guess it's out of juice.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah. So,
I'll speak very loudly.
yeah, so I was facilitating a class at work, and one of my co-facilitators, he read this poem, and I just loved it. And it's where I got interested in cowboy poetry. And the class that we were teaching was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, based on the book by Stephen Covey. And we were on habit 2, and it's begin with the end in mind. And it's kind of your missions. You have to sit down and think about your mission statement. And kind of like Wendy's poem on eulogy, it kind of was a good follow-up to that one, because it had the same
Theme. So this is called Reincarnation by Wallace McCrae. You know him. So I was doing a little investigation about his past, and unfortunately he passed away in June of last year. He was born February 26, 1936, and he's from Montana. He was a 3rd-generation rancher. His family members raised cattle and sheep in northeastern Montana from 1885. And he has many awards. He was inducted into the Montana Cowboy Hall of Fame in 2020. In 1990, he was the National Heritage Fellowship from the National Endowment for the Arts. And another one was Bill Clinton, nominated by Bill Clinton to serve on the National Council of the Arts. So he has quite a few things there, and I listened to him recite this poem, which was good to kind of practice, but I can't do it justice, but I'm gonna try. What does reincarnation mean? A cowpoke asked his friend. His pal replied, it happens when your life has reached its end. They comb your hair and wash your neck and clean your fingernails and lay you in a padded box away from life's travails. The box in you goes in a hole that's been dug into the ground, and reincarnation starts in when you're planted beneath this mound. Then clods melt down just like your box and you who is inside, and then you're just beginning on your transformation ride. In a while, the grass will grow upon your rendered mound, till someday on your molded grave a lonely flower is found. And say a hoss should wander by and graze upon this flower that once was you, but now's become your vegetative bower. Well, the posy that the hoss done ate up with his other feed makes bone and fat and muscle all essential to the steed. But some is left that he can't use, and so it passes through and lays upon this ground this thing that once was you. Then say by chance I wanders by and sees this on the ground, and I ponders and I wonders at this object that I found. I think of reincarnation, of life and death and such, and I come away concluding, Slim, you ain't changed all that much.
Good reading there, too, Susan. Good delivery.
Okay, Connie, followed by Kevin, followed by Cynthia.
I think Connie left. Oh, Connie left? Oh. But she's good to find. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't have any cowboy poems, but I have a couple of nature ones. Excuse me. This one's called That Lone Oak. That lone oak, stark and bare, looks so lonely standing there, like people I have known. People who have lost their dreams, despair has caused them not to grow. They can't branch out, they won't let go. Like the oak with withered root, their hollow lives can't bear much fruit. That lone oak, its shadow cast, of memories shrouded in the past. Fantasies become delusions, seemed in reach, now faint illusions. That lone oak, absent leaves, like an empty nest that grieves. Children once beneath its branches, gone the way of circumstances. That lone oak, standing tall, people try but sometimes fall. Their hopes chopped down like a fallen tree, they crash inside where none can see. That lone oak, stark and bare, like people I have known.
Hi everyone. For those who don't know, I was Livermore's poet laureate, so I was Peggy's predecessor, and one of the first things I was asked to do, my friend Barbara Souls was on the Heritage Guild, and she organizes the community events that they have at Hageman Ranch here in town, and so I literally was poet laureate for maybe 1 week, and she contacts me and says, great, you're poet laureate, come and do a whole cowboy poetry event at the open house at Hageman Ranch, because they were tying it in with the rodeo. And anyway, so over the years I have amassed or curated a whole, and so Peggy asked me to read a couple of them. So I dug out two that tie in with Livermore's heritage. So this first one was written in 1930. Was written by Johnny Schneider, who made his first appearance at a rodeo here in Livermore and then wrote a poem about it. He was only 19. And by 1931, he was the RAA World Champion Cowboy. So anyway, this was his poem about his first rodeo and his first experience. Is this working? Yeah. Okay, I'll try this. So, my first rodeo by Johnny Schneider. It was 8 o'clock in the morning, the second day of July, when I thought I'd go to Livermore, a bucking horse I'd try. I didn't look much like a cowboy. I'd been working on a farm. I had no hat, nor chaps, nor boots, but my saddle was a charm. I borrowed a pair of rusty spurs from another country lad. I told him he'd better come along, for I might not be so bad. So I saddled up a work team, a little bay and brown, and I started out for Livermore, the celebrating town. We got to town quite early, and when our horses had their care, we thought we'd take a walk around and see what all was there. So we walked around the village, up the street and down. I'll bet there were 100 cowboys scattered about the town, wearing broad-brimmed hats and fancy boots and shirts. Some wore silver-mounted spurs and others carried quirts. Whenever we'd meet a cowboy, whether he was short or tall, my little friend would whisper, "Johnny, you got no chance at all." But I went down to headquarters, signed up and drew a mount that had bucked off more good riders than what some cowboys could count. And the next day at the roundup, when it came my turn to ride, the cowboys helped each other, but for me, they stood aside. And as I cinched my saddle, the boys just gathered round for to see the little stranger go tumbling to the ground. But I fooled all those punchers when the snub man jerked the blind and the old mare went to bucking and a kicking high behind. Those rusty spurs were raking the hair off her sides. I'll tell you, I was scratching that old thing high and wide. I'll not have to say what happened, nor what the judges said, but we had a chicken dinner before we went to bed. And there's one thing that I'm sure of when I go to Livermore, the folks all know the cowboys. I'm a stranger there, no more.
He was 19, you said?
He was 19, this was his first rodeo at 19. Yeah, he wrote it, which was in 1923, when he was 19. And he wrote this poem in 1930, about that experience. Okay, this one was published in the first Livermore rodeo program in 1918. It's called The Cowboy's Return, dedicated to Rod Fallon. Don't know who that is, but. Backward, turn backward, O time with your wheels, aeroplanes, wagons, and automobiles. Dress me once more in sombrero that flaps, spurs and a flannel shirt, slicker and chaps. Put a 6-shooter or 2 in my hand, show me a yearling to rope and to brand. Out where the sagebrush is dusty and gray, make me a cowboy again for a day. Give me a bronco that knows how to dance, buckskin of color and wicked of glance. New to the feeling of bridles and bits, give me a quirt that will sting where it hits. Strap on the poncho behind in a roll, pass me the lariat, dear to my soul. Over the trail, let me gallop away, make me a cowboy again for a day. Thunder of hooves on the range as you ride, hissing of iron and smoking of hide, bellow of cattle and snort of cayuse. Shorthorns from Texas as wild as the deuce, midnight stampede and the milling of herds, yells of the cowmen too angry for words,
Right in the thick of it all I would stay, make me a cowboy again for a day. Under the star-studded canopy vast, campfire and coffee and comfort at last, bacon that sizzles and crisps in the pan, after the roundup smells good to a man. Stories of ranchers and rustlers retold over the pipes as the embers grow cold. These are the tunes that old memories play. Make me a cowboy again for a day.
Okay, that concludes our program for today. Look at Paul smiling, he's saying, they're finishing on time. What is this? So thank you all for coming out. I know we lost a big part of our audience at intermission, that always happens. So I apologize to the open mic readers for that. So thanks everyone for coming, and let's have a big round of applause for our two guest poets.
Thank you, Peggy, for having us.
Yes, you're welcome. And let's thank Paul and the library for hosting us today. Okay, so enjoy the rest of the day. There's still a few sunny hours left, I